Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm taking the MCAT in 2 days, and I knew that I was going to be taking the entire last day before the MCAT off from studying, because it doesn't make any sense, in my view, to study a ton the day right before a test. So I knew today was going to be my last day of studying, and I was on the fence about whether or not I was going to make a video. I was like, either I can not take a week off and devote myself to studying, I was like, or I can use making a video as an incentive, right? And if I say to myself, I have to get enough studying done that I feel justified in stopping early to make a video, I will get more studying done in the first place. And that's what I did. So here we are. So this week I'm going to talk about the 3 earth signs. Last week I talked about fire, so now I'm gonna change things up. So get excited. 1, 2, 3, drunk!
And this time we're gonna get funky.
Dear people, and especially white people of America, the next time you're at a wedding or a bar mitzvah or a birthday party and the DJ puts on the cha-cha slide, when he says turn it out, you have to turn and then move to the right. No one does this. It drives me crazy. He says turn it out, take it. You go to the right. It's implied. Also, when he says to the left, you do a whole grapevine. You don't do that boring white people thing where you step once and then stop moving. I hate that. I hate that. All of you people who are doing that, I want to punch you in the face. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing a Santa sweater, to which I have to respond to you, why are you not wearing a Santa sweater? Unless you are wearing a Santa sweater. This is very hot. I'm very hot. I'm very hot. I thought the Santa sweater was a good idea because I needed a little Christmas right this very minute. It's not a sustainable business model. I'm sweating like a pig. So I talked a little bit about the elements last week. The zodiac cycles of the elements. So all the fire signs come first, right? And then the earth signs come second, right? So all the earth signs are directly after a fire sign. Earth signs, like fire signs, are very productive, right? But they are rational doers instead of emotional doers, right? Fire signs do shit based on what they feel, right? They do shit based on impulsivity, based on passion, based on what they're excited about. Earth signs do shit based on what's practical. They do shit based on what will make them money. They do shit based on what will give them more material possessions. They do shit based on what physically feels good. You can do things that are both productive and exciting, but the emphasis is on what you can hold on to and what is present in the physical world and what makes rational sense rather than what the heart wants. Taurus is the least teacher's pet, super productive, kind of boring of the 3, right? The other 2 have a stereotype for being very hyper productive and a little bit anal. Taurus is less like that, right? But Taurus is still very much grounded in the physical realm. Earth signs are about things you can hold on to, finances, right? Practicality. Tauruses have a reputation for being very sensual, for being very interested in the finer things in life, right? They have a reputation for being into fine food and drink. And they also have a reputation for being a little bit stubborn, right? That's another thing the earth signs are famous for, right? Because they're very rational. They can also be very rigid. Virgos are focused on the details of their immediate surroundings, right? They're focused on editing and sort of fixing and tinkering with the physical things of their surroundings, right? They have a reputation for being hyper-organized. A lot of them are, right? A lot of those people who have their underwear, organized alphabetically by color are Virgos. But some Virgos, even if they claim to be, messy and disorganized, they still have an eye for detail in a very precise way about how they want their immediate surroundings set up. I lived with 2 Virgos all of my senior year of college, and one of them was very neat, one of them was very messy, but at the same time, our living room had a very precise aesthetic set. 2 of them would always go at it, I want to put this here, no, I want to put that there, and they would come to me and be like, I was like, I don't really care. But they were very specific about what details they wanted in what place. The thing about Virgo and the earth signs as a whole is they can be more focused on the material rather than the emotional, right? Someone who's very heavy in earth signs in general might be a little bit emotionally attached, and with the whole Virgo thing, right? All that detail and all that precision is focused on their immediate environment and things that they can hold on to and grab, right? Rather than things that are intangible and more related to emotional well-being. Neither one is more important or less important than the other, but they are both relevant. Capricorn is the most enterprising of the 3, right? Virgo fixes things that are already there. Taurus has the most inertia of the 3 earth signs, right? It's the most likely to hold on to what it already has and least likely to seek out something new. Tauruses are very security-minded and very grounded in what they already have and what they think works, right? Capricorns are always in search of something new to cement their security, right? They're associated with career, authority, and power, right? Because they're likely to try to climb the ladders of things along those lines. That doesn't always necessarily take the mode of being successful successful, right? But those things are on their mind, right? So if you're a Capricorn and you know Capricorn and you're like, he's not Lord Voldemort, he hasn't taken over the entire world. Well, not yet he hasn't, but the thing is, it's on his mind. It's something that seems cool to him, right? A lot of us, I personally don't give a shit about how much money I make. I have always said that as long as I have a roof over my head and enough to support my family, I don't really care how much money my job makes. Capricorns, the idea is not necessarily that they are good at those things, but that they value them, right? Some of them are very good at them, right? And some of them are good at those things because they value them, right? They make a priority on finding, you know, stable employment, but also employment that can take them somewhere, right? And on pushing themselves and striving for more and being productive. Someone with a lot of earth in their chart is going to be very practical, very concerned with what is, right? Rather than what should be, right? And they're also going to be very literal. Someone with very little earth in their chart is going to have trouble dealing with the real world, right? And maybe some trouble with rational thinking. Earth is a very rational element, but there's another rational element, it's air, but the thing is they're very different, right? So if you don't have any earth in your chart, you can still be very rational, but the difference is air signs think in terms of what should be, earth signs think in terms of what is, right? That leads to a lot of conflicts, right? And again, that's one of those things that you can think about both, right? You can keep in mind, this is how it should be, this is how it is, here's how I get it to how it should be. But they're obviously like different things to emphasize. And someone with very little earth in their chart is going to be a lot less focused on what is in the world, right? And having a sense of how that relates to their life. They might be very rational, they have a lot of air. They also might be completely irrational and very much driven by their heart and their emotions. Depends on the other things in their chart. This isn't alcohol. This is just water. I was staying hydrated. I mean, I have been drinking. It's important to stay hydrated when you've been drinking. Or in life. If you haven't been drinking alcohol, just be nice to your body. You only get one. Unless you practice necromancy. And that's kind of a whole nother can of beans. I don't want to go there. I don't want to think about that. Zombies? Earth is very compatible with water, which should make sense. The water nurtures the earth. The feelings of water help to nurture the earth, and the earth helps to ground the water, right? So water signs can be very all over the place, right? The earth signs keep them, you know, stable and, you know, tell them, well, you know, you got to file your taxes, right? It's like April. But the water signs take care of the earth signs' emotional needs. They might not be in as good touch with. It's touching the feelings. I don't know what I mean. Air and earth, by contrast, are a really bad match, right? I don't have a cute mnemonic for this the way I do with like fire and water. I can't blow dirt. You can blow dirt. You can't blow a rock. If there's a rock and you keep blowing on it, it won't move. It doesn't go anywhere. It's not productive. Fire and earth are just kind of like, nah, you can probably set some dirt on fire. Not very well. If you set dirt on a fire, it might not go out. Probably won't get brighter. They're both productive elements, but they're productive in very different ways. So it doesn't always work, it doesn't always not work. It's just kind of in the middle. As I said in my fire signs video, if you are watching this and this either doesn't relate to you or doesn't relate to an earth sign you know and love, keep in mind you have a sun sign, you also have a Mercury sign and a Venus sign, right? There's a whole bunch of variables that go into your star chart. So if you are a Virgo and you have a lot of feelings, right, even though your outward persona might seem more practical, you can have tons of planets in water signs elsewhere in your chart, and you can still be a very emotional, you know, and in touch and artistic and creative and sensitive person, right? By contrast, if you feel very practical and very grounded and very focused on the material and the real world, but you're not an earth sign, right? You're like a Libra or something. You might have a lot of earth elsewhere in your chart. Fuck September, I put the sweater back on. That's all I have to say for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe. I put up videos every Thursday. I record them every Wednesday or whenever the fuck I've been drinking. And next week I'm going to come back and I'm going to be talking about air signs and how they relate to each other, how they relate to the rest of the zodiac, what they're compatible with. I hope I'll also be drunk. All right. See you next week.